me just make up something funny. Push me in the wheelchair and just be stupid about it. This is the car that got me started into everything. In 1989, my doctor told me to get a hobby. I was working too hard, so I went out and I bought this. It's a 1976 Ferrari 308 GT4, affectionately known as Yellow Fever. This car is a 1994 Ferrari 348 Challenge car. They made 32 of them. This is number 32 of 32. And there were 2 cars that were brought into Canada only. And this is one of the 2. We originally had talked about this in the fact that it had been banged up at a charity event a number of years ago, and that we reached out and partnered with one of the local community colleges to work on getting it back on the road. I do a lot of educational stuff with cars and without cars, and as part of that, we're putting it together. What I think is sexy about this car?
Yeah.
It's a Ferrari, for goodness sakes. Everything is sexy about this car. These things help a lot too. This trophy was actually won in one of the preliminary races at the Grand Prix in Montreal. What's more interesting is little trophies like this one. I went to my first Ferrari Club event in 1991, and it was the national meet, and at noon the marshals and the corner workers who are at all races and are aware of what's going on presented me with this trophy for the most outstanding performance of the weekend, and that was against all other types of Ferraris in the cheapest and least beautiful of the Ferraris. Yeah, it's 3rd place, but I ended up with this and did race it for a number of years. It's called Tivolate, or a tease, but we really call it number 99. And in Canada, 99 means something, but I was actually born in Brantford before Wayne Gretzky, so I can take the honors first. Okay, we've been mulling over in our minds what's actually happening with your program that you're going to be doing. And because I'm somewhat familiar with racing and terminology, not too sure about what you mean by spotter. Spotters in NASCAR tend to be people who are up around the track and giving instructions as to where it's safe to drive. We have navigators in rallying. That could be someone who's in the car with you, explaining to you where you're going and how you're doing it. So choosing a spotter has to be something that you take seriously. My son-in-law was the one that introduced me to this program, and because he's now very interested in cars and is driving a variety of types of cars himself and is starting to instruct, I would feel very comfortable having him as my spotter. And that would be Andy Furlong. Andy's a really nice guy, but Meg never really wanted to go out with him.
That's not true.
Yeah, one of my motivations, of course, is to get this car back on the track. It is a factory race car, so it should be there. It can be driven on the road, it's street legal, but at the same time, it's regular places on the track. It's not the easiest car to drive, but it's certainly a challenge. Oh, racing in this series would just be another challenge, something that's interesting to do to motivate me and keep me going at my elderly age.
There you go.
Perfect.
It's got a flat. Getting around to motivation again. At my point in time, when I go to my doctor and I tell him that I have aches and pains, he says, well, you are getting older. And when I go to the track and I'm starting to drive, people say, well, you are getting older. And it's kind of satisfying to know that I can still go out there at my age, which is 72, and have no trouble competing with the young guys in their cars.